everyone. Welcome to the March DMI Advocacy Update. I'm Jason Elster, president of Downtown Madison, Inc., and we're excited for another advocacy update where we talk about all things in the advocacy world happening in downtown and at DMI, and also welcome a community partner. And today we certainly have an amazing community partner. We've got Jayme Powers, president and CEO of Madison LakeWay Partners, an incredible organization trying to build Madison's LakeWay. It's an amazing project right on Lake Monona. We'll hear from Jayme here in just a bit, but we want to thank our sponsors. Our major series sponsor again this year is our good friends from Scenair. We're going to hear from Chris Gilling, Senior Business Development Director for Scenair in just a second. Also want to thank our friends at Hush Blackwell and the Fiore companies for all of your support. Let's go to our major series sponsor, Scenair and Chris Gillings. Chris, how are you today?
Doing well, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing great. Spring is almost here, and I know you're a baseball coach, so you've got to be more excited than most about spring.
Pitchers and catchers have reported everything is all good in both baseball on the home front and our friends in the big leagues as well. So I always get excited for spring and seeing the coming of return of life to everything around us.
I do. Yes, this time of the year is an interesting part where everything is sort of this dead brown, green, not quite green, gray, color. Most important question before we get into what you have to say: are my Twins going to win the World Series this year?
I think if they get the pitching and if they can keep some of their hitting healthy,
very nice of you, but I don't think so. But
they're going to have a chance. They're going.
What about your Brew Crew?
At the beginning of spring, Jason.
What about the Brewers? Yeah, I know you're a Brewers fan. How are they going to do?
I think they will overachieve again. I would love to see them go a little deeper in the playoffs. But again, with springtime comes optimism. You think Woodruff's arm is going to stay healthy. You think all of the rookies are going to take the next step forward, and things will continue on. So until proven otherwise, I'm going to stay optimistic.
I love it. How's everything in Scenair?
It's good. We're like most. The beginning of 2025 has brought a suite of challenges to everybody as we adapt to what the new administration in Washington's priorities are legislatively. And we're trying to make sure that we're keeping money flowing into community development projects and particularly into housing. And so far, we're grateful that all systems are go on those fronts. So for us, everything is going really well. Most importantly, I'm grateful to have Jayme here. I know I talk about the community connection a lot. As I get a chance to look out at an iceless Lake Monona, it reminds us that we're going to be able to finally get boats in the water here when the water warms up just a wee bit more. With the little guys, we don't do it. But the lakes are what make Madison as much of a magnet as anything. They draw us for recreation. They draw us for just their aesthetic beauty. They draw us as great places to live. And the Lake Monona waterfront and a lot of the plans have been, I know, at the forefront of what DMI has been doing to make sure that everybody in the community has an opportunity to lean in and really embrace the lakes. And I'm grateful that we live in a community that recognizes them as the treasure that they are. And that we've got people like Jayme trying to make sure that they're not there just for those who are residents along the shore, but for everybody in the community to enjoy. So grateful to hear what Jayme has to say and learn a little bit more about the exciting plans for Lake Monona's waterfront.
Here, Chris. As always, thank you for your continued partnership with Scenair. You're all doing amazing work, and we appreciate the support of DMI and Downtown Madison as well.
Anytime, Jason. Anytime. Thank you.
Absolutely. Good luck. Good luck coaching this year. I know you've got several players, including my godson, playing on one of your teams as well. So good luck. Good luck this year.
Thanks, Jason.
You're very welcome. All right, we're going to go to a quick DMI update on what's happening in our world. First, lots of news on Regent Street. We talked about this subject before in the advocacy update with Rob Gottschalk and a few others, but the Regent Street vision, we've got a really solid draft that is out in the public eye. There's an article yesterday on Monday, the 17th of March, on the Regent Street vision in the State Journal, but we also ran an event, What's Up Downtown Breakfast, where we had a panel discussion with Sam Brown, owner of Leopold's, Fabiola's, and Greenbush, Rob Gottschalk, principal with Vanderwall, and Megan Tuttle, the lead planner, the head of the planning division for the city of Madison. Did an excellent job. Check out our YouTube channel. Check out all those resources to see about this really dynamic Regent Street vision. There's a lot happening on that street, including a redone street in the next couple of years. And the city's going to start that planning process this year. We're seeing a lot of private development happening on the street as well. So please do check out this really important Regent Street vision that DMI has been a proud part of for the last 10 years or so. On the transportation front, our transportation committee has hosted several important discussions that I think are very germane to many of our members here in DMI. First, 2 months ago, we welcomed Dan Shave, who is the director of the Southwest region of WSDOT, Wisconsin Department of Transportation. He gave an excellent presentation, chock full of really important information on major transportation infrastructure projects, particularly in road projects over the next sort of 5 to 10 years. Highly recommend checking it out. New interchanges off of, new interchanges off of the interstate. That was harder to say. We have, new areas around Epic, and all these other projects are happening around Stoughton Road. Please do check out Dan's presentation as part of the DMI Transportation Committee in February. And also this month, we had Chris Ott, the Deputy Director of the High Speed Rail Alliance, with a, I think, well-named discussion called Reasons for Optimism and Passenger Rail. He did an excellent job on that presentation. Last, but certainly not least, DMI, through our Government Relations Committee and finalized by our Board of Directors, has approved a slate of candidates that we are endorsing for this year's City Council races. All 20 districts in the city of Madison that run all the way from north to south, to east to west, will be up for election on Tuesday, April 1st. First and foremost, vote. We would love you to vote for one of our endorsed candidates if they're in your district as well. So you can see on the screen this great group of both incumbents and new folks that are running in 18 of the districts. With 18 of the districts, we have made an endorsement. So please do vote on April 1st and vote for a DMI candidate. All right, we're on to our program. As Chris talked about, we are excited to welcome Jayme Powers, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Madison LakeWay Partners. She is a dynamic force in this community and is doing such great work to help build a stronger, more accessible waterfront for all of us on Lake Monona. Jayme, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to share our update.
Absolutely. Jayme, you're relatively new to the community, but get to know Jayme. She's just a wonderful and delightful person who's doing some very impactful work. I would say a once in a generation project to really connect our lake to downtown, to the east side, to the south side, in so much better of a way. We're excited to talk to Jayme today. So Jayme, first, can you provide us an overview of what's happening with the Lake Monona project? What does it look like? What does the project fully encompass?
So, Jason, it's a really ambitious project. We want the Lakeway to be Madison's millennial park, right? We want it to be the signature space where you take people who come to town, where families spend time for their sort of milestone moments, as well as just, I'm going to go hang out and have lunch, right? So I have a video I want to share that sort of gives a big overview, and then we can dig in a little deeper if that's all right.
Absolutely. It's such a great visual project, and we're excited to see this video about what the project all encompasses. What are the prominent features? What are the design elements of this project in the 4 different sections of this work? Jayme, we're super excited to see this video, but of course, as always, technology never quite works out. I think we've got it though, Jayme. We've got it.
We do. So this photo is a great one. It's, such a beautiful city. It's not quite big enough to share the whole scope of the project. So let's watch the video and see.
Madison has had a powerful relationship with its lakes. The lakes became home to the first human inhabitants of the Ho-Chunk Nation. As years passed, the relationship with Lake Monona changed, and we as humans defined the lake. Now is the time for us to give back. The design is woven together through the story walk, a wayfinding element and physical representation of the voices of the lake. A ribbon that morphs from a graphic on a sidewalk to ephemeral carvings in ice to quotes connecting the past, present, and future. They all come together to create a Madison way to lake, Madison LakeWay. Our journey starts at the Lake Lounge, where a new iconic pier connects to the Capitol while providing opportunities for art, music, and food along the waterfront. It's a place to come for the big events or to sit quietly while having lunch. Moving southwest along the waterfront, we pause at the Community Causeway, where new green infrastructure cleans stormwater before it enters the lake. This living edge framework is a restoration strategy that protects and provides a habitat for amphibious life. As temperatures drop, winter programming emerges on Lake Monona. Along Madison's LakeWay, multi-use trails are designed for all speeds and all users from 6 months to 99 years old. The Olin Overlook is a hidden green oasis in the midst of an urban landscape. The design restores the forest, provides new water access and community programming like picnic lawns, a nature and culture center, and a new walking trails, including an artful canopy walk.
The city is so special because you get a population that's excited about nature.
Flying back to the Law Park Ledge, we pause at the elevated park that connects back to the city, creating new space for a playground, gardens, and a boathouse. This is a place to celebrate what is uniquely Madison, like the Mad City Ski Team.
Beautiful lake, and they give free water skiing shows during the summertime.
The Madison LakeWay connects the city to the lake. East Wilson Street will be a short walk away from a new place for kids to play, restrooms, and a new waterfront amphitheater. This is Madison's opportunity to create a new dialogue with its waterfront, to prioritize the lake's health, and create a new community story, starting at the Causeway. Madison LakeWay, a Madison way to lake.
I mean, Jayme, look, I've watched that video many times being a proud board member of Madison LakeWay Partners, but boy, it is dynamic what is happening. It is an amazing project. So can you go over some of those design features of what we're actually going to see in this project?
Yes. So if you can imagine, this park is almost 2 miles long and it hugs the lake shore. And so it's really, it's an ambitious project. And so we break it down into 4, I think, can you still see my screen? No. Let me share. Okay. So, so if we sort of break up the project into 4 quadrants, of course, we'll have to do this in phases, right? We need to raise some money, then we need to build some, and then raise the money and build some. But here are the 4 areas. And the park runs from Olin Park all the way up to Machinery Row. So it just sort of hugs the lake shore. So starting in Olin Park, we're going to have, I think the video said some of this, boat docks and picnic lawns and shelters and a children's natural playground. We'll have an event space. And some of that will be able to actually activate starting this summer. So that's exciting. Here's another picture of Olin. And then this next section is really the John Nolan Drive, that big curve on John Nolan Drive, where they're starting the road work later this year. And so this will be from, well, up to Broome Street is that phase 1 section. Here's a winter picture, but let's look at a summer picture.
Thank you for getting us out of winter. Appreciate it.
Yes, yes. This section of the park will have a new bike path, a walking path, boardwalks that come out over the water. And then probably the jewel of this section is what we're calling right now the Capitol View Pier, which is a pier that, comes out over the water, has that amazing view of the Capitol as well as the water and just the whole city skyline. It's really going to be amazing. And that Capitol View Pier, we think will hold about 400 people. So it's really going to be a space for gathering, music, food, whatever that is, we'll be able to activate on that pier. So that's really exciting. And then coming up the park then gets to the Lake Lounge. And this sort of aligns with Hamilton, if you're familiar with the city. So we'll have the Hamilton Pier Plaza, a boat dock. This is where we're still figuring it out, how to have some sort of underpass to have safe crossing of the John Nolan Drive. And then, of course, public art throughout. So that's the Lake Lounge. And then this is the Law Park Ledge, which is really the connection to downtown, where you'll be able to come over the top of John Nolan Drive and then down to the waterfront. This will have an amphitheater, rain gardens, a boathouse, a public beach, fishing piers, concessions. It really is going to be amazing. Here's another shot sort of from the north looking toward Monona Terrace. You can see the boathouse on the far right of this picture. So those are the 4 sections of the park. We're starting phase 1. Let me turn off my share. We're starting phase 1 is that John Nolan Drive section of the park. That starts in October. They're going to work on the road and redo that starting in October of this year. So you're going to start seeing some action. They're going to start on the bay side, and they're going to narrow the lanes a little bit and scooch everything a little bit to the west so that we have more green space on the lake side for the park. So that's very exciting we're going to start seeing things happen.
And this project's coming to fruition. There are a lot of people working on this for a lot of years, but Jayme, we're so excited that you're the leader now. What does this project do to really help create more vibrancy, more activity in the downtown itself? You mentioned that particularly in the lakefront ledge section, but how does this create a more vibrant downtown Madison?
Mm-hmm. So it really is an underutilized space right now. I mean, certainly people are they're biking. There's a bike path. They're biking, and the bikes are sharing the space with walkers, which can be a little bit dicey. But we're having trouble getting to the park. It's access, and so that's the big challenge that we're trying to solve. Opening up the space, taking care of the waterfront, taking care of the water, and then creating these gathering spaces along the park for people so we can activate in all kinds of ways, right? We'll be able to partner with the school district and have educational programs. We'll be able to partner with downtown businesses and even, I don't know if it'll be this summer, but in Olin Park, we're some of the waterfront is opening up in Olin Park. So looking at having a gathering space right there on the water very soon.
It's all very exciting. You can see, obviously a new infrastructure that creates just really a special place and a placemaking, but certainly significant programming. And I think part of that is where the Madison LakeWay Partners comes involved. So tell us about the LakeWay Partners, because this really is a true public-private partnership. What's the role of the LakeWay Partners?
Yeah, so we really have 3 primary charges. First and foremost, we are the private side of the public-private partnership, And so we are responsible for raising in phase one, $10 million for this project. And we will do that through individual giving, corporate sponsorship, grants. We need to step up to support the city in their efforts. Phase one is $22 million, and we have committed to $10 million of that $22 million. The second thing that is part of what we're doing is really we're advocates for the park, for the project, really, pushing it forward. We're in alignment with the city and still will say, can it be a little better? What if we thought of this? How can we get that underpass that is too expensive? What other ways can we tackle that challenge? How can we partner in those challenges? And then the third thing will be as the park starts to come alive, as these pieces start to come together, we will be responsible for the programming, for the activation, for working with the city and the community, and how the space is used and how we activate it and bring in certainly tourists, but more importantly, people who live right here in Madison and how they can use the space.
You all are a huge part. I mean, there's so many partners that are involved, but to have the LakeWay partners running this, it's fantastic. So you mentioned, obviously, timeline beginning later this year with some of the road construction work. What's the overall rough timeline for the project?
Well, yeah, we're not quite sure on that. I can share with you the phase one timeline that we have pretty nailed down, which is, as I mentioned, work on John Nolan Drive starts in October. That's going to take about 1.5 years. By the time they fix the road and the bridges and scooch everything to the west. And as soon as they are done with that, the Lakeway elements of that will come in behind. So the new bike path, the new walking path, the boardwalk that'll go out over the water, which will be so amazing. And then, of course, the Capitol View Pier, all of that will come in right after that. Hope to be done winter of 2028. So pretty quick.
Not that far away. I mean, obviously, we don't know the timing of the other projects. We hope that the first phase goes well and there's significant momentum that leads us to phases 2, 3, 4, the ledge, the porch, and certainly the work at Olin Park. Question that I get constantly on the board of directors is how can people get involved in the work? How can they learn more and how can they get involved in the work that's happening on Madison Lakeway?
Well, there are a number of ways. Certainly, the fastest and easiest way is to go to our website at madisonlakeway.org, sign up for our newsletter. We'll keep you informed what's happening. We have all kinds of volunteer opportunities. We're going to be very aggressive this summer in our outreach as far as we're going to piggyback on a number of events that are produced by other organizations like Loop the Lake, the marathon, those sorts of things we'll be involved in. And then we're also going to dip our toe this summer into events ourselves for the first time. We're going to host 3 free family movie nights in Olin Park. So that'll be really fun. We have a sponsor for one of those nights. We need sponsors for the other 2. So if there's someone involved, somebody listening who would like to be part of that, reach out to me and we'd be happy to connect you with that information and get you involved that way. And then we're also launching the capital campaign, of course, starting in June, and we will be trying to raise this $10 million. So if you or someone is interested in supporting this project, send them our way. We're more than happy to talk to people, and now is the time to get involved. We're laying the groundwork. So.
Well, absolutely. This is a total community project, and we're so thankful to have Jayme Powers running this on the private side for the Madison LakeWay partners. Got two last questions for you. We didn't
Okay.
send them to you ahead of time, so you're welcome. But the first question is, what excites you most about this project?
So, it really is about the impact that this project will have. It really can change the way the city operates and the way people are using this space. And it's going to be all of those things. It's going to be those milestone moments in people's lives. And this project really sets us up as stewards of the lakefront, and then elevating it and activating it so that we are optimizing all of those opportunities. So it's really exciting. And it can be anything. Like we can do anything there. So it's, we're only held by our imagination and funding. Funding again.
Yeah, true, true. Yes, it does come down to funding, but you're right. Our imagination, particularly on this project, should be limitless. I have yet to see a project where there's so much community support for this project from young, from old, from north, from south, from east, from west parts of the city. People are excited about this project. All right, you're a relatively new transplant to Madison. What has positively surprised you the most about downtown Madison?
Well, you can get anywhere in 12 minutes or less. It's very funny to me. I moved here from Seattle and you can't get anywhere in 12 minutes in Seattle. And it's when people talk about traffic here, it it's funny to me. It's like, oh, okay, sure.
True. I grew up in downtown Minneapolis, so yes, certainly different experience. But it's been so great having you, and honestly, having your experience watching the Seattle waterfront, which is not dissimilar from this project, right? A completely different project. Obviously, they had to take down a double-decker highway and some other things, but they're farther along in their process. And Jayme, it must be fun for you to watch Seattle come. Many of these sections come to fruition.
Yes. And that's an amazing project and they have a very hard deadline because World Cup is coming. And so they're going to have, I don't even know how many hundreds of thousands of visitors for that. I think they have 6 of the games or matches. So they are really pressing it hard to be completely done and ready by the time World Cup arrives next summer. So it's a great project. They've done an amazing job.
So, are you advocating to speed this project up? We just try to get a World Cup here in Madison.
Yes, I am.
Okay, perfect. Because I'm all for it as a big soccer, or as most would say, football fan. Jayme Powers, Chief Executive Officer, Madison LakeWay Partners. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and thank you for your leadership on this really important and catalytic project for downtown and our entire community. We really appreciate you being here.
Thanks so much, Jason.
And thank you all for listening to our March DMI Advocacy Update. Thank you to our major series sponsors, Sinair, Fiore Companies, and Hush Blackwell for all your support. Hopefully we'll see you downtown soon. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for all the support. Talk to you soon.